Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! Exclamation point. This is a podcast based on a blog of the same name because everywhere you look, it's Couch Potatoes Unite. Am I right? Of course I am. I'm the blogger in question and the self-styled Chief Couch Potato. My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out the blog at couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For at Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU, exclamation point, hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and via Google Play to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows, including but not limited to Doctor Who, Downton Abbey, How to Get Away with Murder, Broadchurch, Once Upon a Time, New Girl, The Vampire Diaries, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Supernatural, Game of Thrones, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, American Horror Story, and The X-Files from its inception through its revival. We've taken a look back at True Blood, Ally McBeal, Futurama, Desperate Housewives, and 6 Feet Under, and more episodes are in the works, including new panels covering the 100, Grimm, and Stranger Things, a new entry in our Marvel's Defenders series, which will be covering Luke Cage, and new episodes looking back at older shows will include That 70s Show, Gallivant, and Glee. What's more, CPU from time to time goes live. We've appeared at Comedy Outlet Mondays at Dog Story Theater and at Grand Rapids Comic-Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan while streaming live on Facebook. More live appearances are being planned, so make sure you like us at our Facebook page, our Twitter, follow us at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, and or our Pinterest at CPU Podcast. Or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, or find us on Google Play. In the meantime, if you don't hear your show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews. We're always seeking new panelists, so if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any one of our outlets aforementioned. At the very least, stop by and leave us a thumbs up, comment, or review. We like feedback. Just keep it clean, people. Keep it clean like Danny Tanner would want you to. Today's panelists are continuing a series focusing on a friendly family who for generations has lived in a full and now a fuller house, first on APC and then on Netflix in a revival series event. Continuing her role from last time, frequent panelist Kristen will take the mic to moderate this Fuller House panel. You've heard her on at least 3/4 of our active panels. In fact, there's so many to list. So just check out our website. You're going to have to go to the header, which is the picture of the TV watcher, to the menu at the left. There's a dialog box floating there. You can pull it down. You can see a list of all CPU panelists and panels, and Kristen's name will be at the top because she's on so many with me. But that makes her so equipped to moderate, so I'm just going to stop talking and pass the mic on back over to her. Take it away, Kristen!
Thanks, Kylie! Alright, so today we are around the water cooler once again talking about Season 1 of Fuller House, a Netflix original series that premiered in its entirety on February 26, 2016. And because Fuller House is a Netflix original, it should be noted that it is only legally available to watch on Netflix. So the Tanners, now the Tanners and the Fullers, are back. Fuller House is a continuation of the family-friendly favorite series Full House, which originally aired on ABC from 1987 to 1995. Set 21 years after the end of the series, Fuller House centers around oldest daughter DJ Tanner Fuller, played by Candace Cameron Bure, a veterinarian and widowed mother to 3 sons, Jackson, Max, and Tommy Jr., played by Michael Campion, Elias Harger, and Dashiell and Fox Mezet. With most of the Tanner family moving away from San Francisco, DJ is worried about how she'll make it on her own, until her sister Stephanie, played by Jodie Sweetin, and best friend Kimmy Gibbler, Andrea Barber, offer to move in and help raise her boys in the original Tanner family home. Full House has now come full circle. All of the original cast make frequent cameos and guest appearances, except for Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, but we'll cover that later. And DJ's high school sweetheart, Steve Hale, Scott Winger, returns as a new or old love interest. And new additions to the cast also include Sonia Nicole Bringas as Ramona, which is Kimmy's daughter, Juan Pablo de Pace as Fernando, Kimmy's ex-husband, and John Brotherton as Matt Harmon, DJ's coworker and other love interest. Today, we've brought back the Full House panel to discuss Season 1 of Fuller House and see if we love it as much, maybe a little less, maybe a little more than the original. As always, it should be noted that all of the panelists have viewed Fuller House in its entirety and may discuss sensitive plot points. So, for those listeners who haven't watched Fuller House, listen at your own risk, as we will be discussing major spoilers. Welcome back, Fuller House panel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be back with you guys again discussing this continuation. So, you know the drill. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves by first name and how you came to watch Fuller House. How did you find out about it? You know, what made you start watching and what kept you watching? And also the standard CPU character interest question that Kylie has patented and put her copyright symbol on. So, do you watch Fuller House because you absolutely love it? It feels like coming home and you always wanted to live here anyway, like Kimmy. Fuller House is the best. It's just like the amazing new cleaning product your grandpa told you about, and you idolize your older sibling and you want to get closer to them by watching the show, like Max. It had a rough start, but you think it's finally found its direction, like DJ. You really want to be skiing in St. Bart's or off somewhere fabulous with your friends, or watching fun new shows, but your love of the original and sense of nostalgia has won out, so you'll be sticking around for better or for worse, like Stephanie. You're unsure of all the new people and how this is really going to work out, but you'll try and make the best of it, like Jackson. You're too cool for this, and you only watch it because your family does, and you guys do everything together, like Ramona. Are you here for tips on how to win the love of your life back, or just for the leftovers, like Steve? Or you're just here for the cameos, like Danny, Jesse, Joey, and Becky? Or you didn't watch it because you're off in New York running your fashion empire, like Michelle, or you're not old enough to watch TV, like Tommy Jr. Who wants to start?
I'm Amie, and I started watching Fuller House. I found out about it as a fan of Full House, was excited by it, and of course I had to tune in for nostalgic reasons and curiosity, and because I'm a fan of the family. And I think I'm a few people, but you asked us to pick one, so I think that I'm going to pick Stephanie, because although there are other options out there, I still come back to this show and why I like it and why I like the characters, for better or for worse.
Thanks. Welcome back, Amie.
My name is Allie, and I saw the trailer for Fuller House on Twitter, and I was so excited that they were bringing it back. Whether it was going to be good or bad, I just wanted to see what it was all about and see some of my favorite characters come back to life. And I think for my character, I would agree that I'm Stephanie, just because, again, it's just sort of, it was my early childhood, and so I will likely stick around no matter what happens, even if it turns out to be horrendous in season 2. But yeah, so that's me. Hi.
Welcome back, Allie.
And I'm Leslie. I found out about Fuller House, I think, on Facebook. I saw a bunch of articles coming out that there was going to be, this show on Netflix, and I have Netflix, thank goodness. So I was super excited. The day it came out, I had to watch it, and I watched every episode in a row, all the night it premiered, and I loved it. So I would say for me, I'm probably Kimmy. I love it, and it feels like coming home, and I love it. I'll love it no matter what. So
Great. Welcome back, Leslie.
Hi, Andrew again. I was going to say Stephanie, but I'd say I'm probably more Jackson with this season. I'm unsure
about all the new people.
Well, yeah, more than that. I'm just unsure. But I'm going to see how it works out, and I'm going to make the best of it, and I will continue watching it. I am a sucker for nostalgia, and I will watch anything that comes back with my childhood.
So how did you find out about Fuller House? What made you start watching? What kept you watching?
What kept me watching is it being mind-numbing TV that I don't have to use my brain. And that's good for me right now. With as much as I have going on, that I can watch a show and allow my brain to fry and not have to focus.
All right.
But I started it the night it aired, like when it came out, and I think I watched the first episode, and I said, I am not pulling an all-nighter for this, and went to bed. And then I think the next day I watched them all.
Yeah.
Great. Well, welcome back, Andrew.
Hi, I'm Jenn. How I found out about Fuller House was, I think I saw it on Netflix's Facebook page. They did a teaser trailer for Fuller House, and if I remember, it had the voiceovers for most of the main characters, and then like scenes from the house in San Francisco, and then Comet Junior, how many juniors there
Steve
is.
has Comet Junior, and then Cosmo is the new puppy. It's Comet
Oh
Junior.
yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have the dog too, and it's like, oh my gosh, is this coming back? And then I was like, yes! So I have Netflix as well, so I was able to watch it. I didn't watch it the first day that it came out, but the second day that it came out, I managed to finish the whole season in like one sitting, because that is how I watch TV, is I need to be able to binge it in one sitting at least in order to keep my attention. And then for rating interest in the show, I would say that I would be more of a Stephanie, because I like having that sense of nostalgia, but I also understand that it's now 2016. Times have definitely changed since the 80s or 90s, but I'd like to stick it out to see how it progresses, either for better or for worse.
Great. Thanks. Welcome back, Jen. As I said before, I'm Kristen. I'm a fan of the original Full House, and I think I found out about Fuller House sometime in like mid-2015. There was like a bunch of news articles like, hey, guess what? Netflix has picked up a Full House sequel that's going to be called Fuller House, and so I already knew I was going to start watching it. I just kind of kept my eye on the premiere date. I mean, it's fun. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm not going to not watch the new version. My interest in the show, I think I'm going to agree with pretty much everyone else. I'm a Stephanie, hands down. There's so much other good TV out there, but I want to keep watching, and now that I'm moderating, I'm going to keep watching. But I like it. I also am a little bit of DJ. I think it was a little bit of a rocky start. I don't know if it has found its direction yet, but I'm interested to see where season 2 goes. So I am in it for the long haul. All right, and another Couch Potatoes typical question. Because this is the first time that we are talking about a new series, we're also going to rate the show overall with Kylie's wonderful star rating. So we've already done the character interest, and now we're going to do the star rating. So would you give Fuller House 5 stars? Oh my gosh, I have to watch everything. Holy smokes, this is the best show on television ever, and this is my life. Would you give it 4 stars? Well, it certainly seems intriguing. I'm going to keep watching, but I see some possible pitfalls in the premiere. Would you give it 3 stars? I'll give it one more try come season 2. There are things I like, things I don't, and we'll see which things are allowed to flourish. Do you give it 2 stars? Maybe you only watched part of season 1, or maybe you're mostly bored, or, there might be some intrigue or fascination that maybe could hold it together, but it's kind of unlikely, and you really can't convince yourself to keep watching it. Or is it a 1 star? It's a snoozer. We're going to pass on this one, guys. The show is not funny. It's not interesting. It's not for me. I've got too many other important things to do than waste my time on this very sickly sweet nostalgia.
2.5.
2.5, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Why 2.5?
Because, let me go back to the grading scale.
Yeah. So 2 is you only watched part of it. You were kind of bored.
I watched the whole thing,
You
but
watched the
yes,
whole
I
thing,
was kind of bored. I will stick with it. I hope that they will find its footing. Mm-hmm. I mean, all shows are like that.
Yeah.
So I have hopes. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish that they just did the whole show in a different direction, but we can get to that later.
We'll get there. That's going to be a big topic. Mm-hmm. So 2.5 for Andrew.
I think for me, I would say probably, I'd say like a 4.5.
Wow, so this is one of your top television shows. That's a pretty high rating, Leslie.
Yeah.
You're gonna
No, I'm sticking with it.
4.5. Okay, 4.5 for Leslie. Amie, what about you?
I'm probably going to go between 3.5 and 4.
Okay.
I'm still going to stick with it. I didn't think it was, oh my gosh, mind-blowing or innovative, really, but I didn't think it was awful. I definitely watched it, and I will continue to watch it.
I think I'm at a solid 3.
Okay.
I mean, it was all right. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it, but there's still a lot of hopes, and I think come season 2, there's a lot of things that they can improve on, maybe from feedback that they've gotten, etc. So, yeah.
All right, so 3 for Allie.
I'd say for me, it's probably between 3 and 4, so 3.5 stars. I think it's definitely intriguing. I think it definitely has some more potential, but I think there could be some potential problems with it too. But we can get into that later.
All right. So we're right in the middle of a 3 kind of ish area because Andrew and Leslie kind of balance each other out, and I think I'm gonna go with a solid 3. For me, I don't know. I'm going to give it another try, obviously. I'll continue to watch it until it's done. But, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't like. And there are some potential problems. And this first season, I feel like there was a lot of fan service.
Yes.
And we'll get into that. That's one of the questions I have for you guys in a bit. But that's one of the main reasons I'm giving it a 3. I think it was catering too much to the fans, and I don't agree with some of the decisions that they made, like Andrew had said. There's things that I would change.
I completely
So I think kind of overall on average, we're kind of around a 3, maybe a 3.5. So, okay, that's a good place to start. Because we kind of rated it right around that middle of the scale, did you guys like the show right away? Did it have to grow on you for a little bit? I mean, tell me what your first impressions were.
My first impression was I hated the pilot episode.
Me too.
But at the same time, I didn't hate it because it was like, okay, they gave us fans some, and then it started to go into its own show a little bit. If the entire series stayed like the first episode, I would have been Kylie and said no.
No, thanks. Yeah, Kristen, you can take this one for me.
Yeah.
Amie, what about you?
I think I'm with Andrew a bit on this. The pilot was like, okay, I see, you're just trying to like break through with this new series. It was cheesy, but it is finding its way. The one thing that I kind of maybe we'll touch on this later, but I tell people like don't take the show too seriously when I started watching it because I enjoyed it. But if people are holding it to the same standard that they had in like the 80s and 90s, they probably would have been a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you definitely have to have a new mindset, like going into it as a fresh series as opposed to looking back, which I know is kind of contradictory because it is a revival or whatever, but it is a new sort of age, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so it makes for a different series. And yeah, I mean, the pilot episode, like watching, like hearing the song again was like super cute and whatever, but I didn't, it was just kind of in between. Like I didn't like it, I didn't hate it, but it was just something there, I guess.
It's so hard to judge with it too, just because this is airing again, like at a completely different era too, because like now we have Facebook, now we have cell phones.
So much
now
has changed in the 20 years since it's been on.
Yeah, like we have easier access to internet and that kind of stuff. And even for the kids growing up, like when DJ and Stephanie were kids, the culture is so much different than when like Jackson and Max are kids too. And it's hard to like compare like apples to oranges in this case too, because they are growing up in a completely different time, but at the same time they're trying to recreate that like cheesy nostalgia for that show. And with our culture today, not quite sure if you can really like recreate that, especially for this audience, especially like specifically for Netflix, where it's like you can binge watch the entire season in one day in one seating if you want to.
Yeah. So did you like it right away, or because of that, or did you have to let it grow on you for those reasons?
I mean, it kept me watching when I was watching it in pretty much the one day that I watched it.
Like Netflix was asking you, Jen, are you okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
Take a break.
It was like, yes, Netflix, I'm fine. No, that's normally how I watch shows too. It's in order to like really process it. Is that like I like
watch it all at once.
Just watch it all at once. And for me, like it was very easy to watch it all at once and process it and be able to like stay up to date with everything too, as opposed to like waiting a week in between episodes or like
trying to remember,
or like when they're or like when they go on like the couple months breaks and like go through those Nielsen ratings to make sure that the show still has an audience.
I think for me, I liked it right away. I remember watching the pilot and hearing the intro, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, I can't wait. And I was so excited. And I do think it was it felt a little rushed to me. It felt like, oh, look here's Uncle Jesse, here's Aunt Becky, here's all these people you remember. And
Yeah,
it was like, oh, okay, all right, okay, now we're...
So you were really, so you loved it at first, but then you kind of needed it to like back off a little. To
a little, yeah, but it kept my attention.
Okay.
I definitely wanted to keep watching, and I watched every episode, like I said, all in one sitting. And I'm definitely gonna be watching season 2 and seeing what they do.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, I wanted to like the show right away, and I thought the pilot. I mean, we'll get into more about the pilot, but I thought it was kind of a mess. I'm not big on doing fan service for fan service's sake, and I feel like they did that a lot throughout this first season. I really didn't like it at first. I was really disappointed after my first viewing. I didn't watch it that first week, and I had other commitments, so I didn't start watching it until maybe 2 weeks or so after it aired, and I had to watch it over a couple of days. I could not watch more than 2 episodes at a time. It was kind of hard for me to get through at first. But I went back and watched it a second time, gave it another shot, and that's when I really started to appreciate it more. So for me, it had to grow on me a little bit. I think it was much more enjoyable on the second viewing, knowing, okay, yeah, there's going to be a lot of fan service, but then you can really ignore that and start focusing on the story. So, yeah.
Question. I know Uncle Jesse produces the show.
He does, yeah.
But did the original creators / writers, did they work on this at all? I know those two guys, they've done
Jeff
so many
Franklin
shows.
The original producers, the Franklin Boyette Productions, I think is...
Boyette Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still own the rights to the show, so they did come back as producers.
But they didn't show run like they did with the original series
Well,
before they left for Mr. Cooper?
Yeah, or whatever they did.
Yeah, I think it was...
But they came back, they produced it along with Warner Horizon Television. It's the new, because Warner Brothers had the other producing rights too back in the day. But I know over the course of the original run of Full House, a lot of the writing staff changed over time, so it wasn't the same writers all the way through. But I think with the original producers and then with John Stamos, Uncle Jesse, since he has such a big stake in the show, I think he actually owns the rights to Full House.
Okay.
So he was one of the big pushers to get it up and running again.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, so I know that they wanted the quality to be really high, and so...
Yeah, I was just going to say, though, because, I guess, even though it was only 10 minutes when Will and Grace came back for just that one reunion thing, or with Girl Meets World, they almost got it right, both, because they were able to cater to the fans without it being so in your face. Because it was the original writers, that were writing everything, so it almost, I felt it worked more, whereas this was let's set the joke up and then look at the camera, because we are self-aware of what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. With the pilot, because I know we've been talking about that a lot too, and speaking of, setting up the jokes and all that, what do you think of where the Tanner clan ended up after 20 years? Do you like the decisions that the creative team made for all these characters? I mean, DJ's a vet. She's widowed with 3 boys. Stephanie is a world-famous DJ who goes by the name DJ Tanner. Kimmy is an event planner. She has her own company called Gibbler Style. She separated from her Latin race car driver Fernando husband, and she has a daughter. Steve is a divorced podiatrist, so he plays with people's feet all day. And he's the doggy dad to Comet Jr., but he still has his large appetite. Danny got remarried to a woman named Terry, played by Ava LaRue, but we only see her in the pilot.
Yep.
And they're both moving to LA with Jesse and Becky to host a national morning show, Wake Up USA. Jesse is now the music composer for General Hospital, where Stamos started his acting career, so that's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep.
Joey's living in Vegas, married with a wife and kids, and performing stand-up regularly. The twins, Nikki and Alex, spent 6 years in college, and they now plan to open a fish taco truck in LA and still live with their parents. And in one of the worst things that they did in the pilot, Michelle is off running her fashion empire in New York, which is exactly what Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen are doing. What do you think about these decisions? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do they make sense? Would you change them to something else? What are your opinions on the Tanners 2.0?
The one thing that really frustrated me personally was DJ being widowed. I suppose it makes sense because
it's coming full circle,
exactly.
and they needed something to
kind
bring
of
it back,
reconnect with that original series. But it just bothered me. It didn't sit right because it was sort of recycling a storyline, and so many writers do that, and it's you're just there's some creativity. Where is it? So I think that frustrated me, but I personally liked the Mary-Kate bit, like the whole nudging at them not coming back. I thought
The 10-second glare into the camera.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I mean, it was kind of unprofessional, but it was also kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I thought they did that. I remember the first time I watched it, and they said the Empire, and then they look at the camera with their faces, and I was like, oh, burn! I love that! Oh, I just thought it was hilarious. I know it probably was a bit, and of course I know it's a dig at Mary-Kate and Ashley, but I was like, oh my gosh, that was just, so perfect. So funny.
It was so petty.
It was.
It would have been funnier if they didn't look into the camera for 10 seconds. I mean,
It'll make it so
that's like,
Had to,
being
be a
nice with how
pregnant
long
pause.
it seemed.
Yeah.
If it was like, I think it would have been funnier that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just kind of to go off of of panning to the camera and making fun of the Michelle character. At first I was like, oh my gosh, but they did it so consistently through the show that it almost made me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I guess I would kind of be like, okay, you got your start here. You were raised on this show and you can't even come back. Like, I can see, I guess, where they might keep doing that. But if they had, I don't know, I think it goes back to being put off by the fan service that they did. And that was part of that, I think, is making reference. And you had also asked about parts we liked and didn't like. I felt very weird with having everybody there. It was great to see them, but I was disappointed by the outcome. Like, for instance, for some reason I was disappointed that Nikki and Alex were like kind of like,
Yeah.
What the
heck?
I was like, why would those kids have turned out that way? It doesn't make sense to me. So it didn't sit well with me. I felt like they just threw them in there and they didn't have to. Like, I would have been A-okay without they could have said they're off at college and they're not here.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay not seeing them. It didn't feel to me that, maybe I'm wrong, Bob Saget wasn't like the warm dad that he was in Full House. He felt cold to me in this particular series for the couple of episodes he was in, or the one or two. And that didn't sit well with me either. But I was able to look past that after a while.
I didn't like, because I know you said DJ Tanner.
DJ Tanner.
As in Stephanie.
Fuller.
DJ
Yeah.
Oh, DJ Tanner, yeah, the DJ
Stephanie,
name.
as a world famous, but to me it was like she was the one without the money and all this stuff, and it's like, it was kind of like an asshole thing to do, because that really was Stephanie. Or, and so I felt like she was the least successful, and she's the one that had the, like, personal issues, and, so I didn't like that, because I felt like they were all so successful, like, performing at Caesar's Palace or whatever place Joey was performing, and
Joey's like in residence at Caesar's Palace,
and everyone's doing all this great
wonderful
stuff.
No, it's like, really, how successful can one family be?
And then you have the one that can't buy Starbucks, and the same one that had the meth issue and almost lost her kids, so.
I think they definitely made jabs at their personal lives, which I don't think I necessarily agree with from, like, a creative point. Like, they could have done a lot more with that, as opposed to, like, the whole Michelle thing. Like, obviously they took that as a personal betrayal, because they had been with those girls since, obviously, they were babies. So, yeah, I think they could have certainly gone a different direction with that.
Yeah, and we'll get into more about that in a minute. I'm not 100% on board with where they took the family after this time. Like, I agree. I think, like Amie said, with Nikki and Alex just being kind of like, quote-unquote, the traditional millennials, like, man, we're just going to open a taco truck and we're going to surf all day. I'm like, really?
And live with our parents still.
Their parents are both so ambitious and successful. It's like, I don't understand that character choice. I agree with Andrew. I think, I get why they made Stephanie a DJ, because she was so creative in the original series growing up, but it's like, you could have just made her like a local radio DJ and had her just be quote-unquote normal, successful.
Like
nothing.
Like radio show.
Yeah, when they had the radio show,
She could have owned the Smash Club.
It hasn't been Smash Club. I want to see that in the Smash Club. I don't know if I buy DJ as a vet, because she didn't really seem all that attached to Comet in the original series. So that would be a more logical choice for Michelle, because she was into horses and she loved animals and
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll see where season 2 takes them. But yeah, overall, I don't know if the choices were the best. I think out of everybody, Kimmy Gibbler was the only one that made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like, of course she'd be a party planner. She still dresses the same. She still acts the same. I think for consistency, she was the best decision.
Yeah.
Made.
Going off of that, I also say she was the best actor.
Oh my
of
gosh.
this.
Yeah.
Because she took so much time off,
Absolutely.
so she wasn't,
Yeah.
like she was just honest
Yeah.
and natural.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in this one, Kimmy was probably the standout star of this first
think so.
season.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we've kind of discussed where they left, we'll call the old guard, the Tanners. So let's talk about the new Fuller characters. So we've got DJ's 3 boys, Jackson, he's 13, he's kind of the reckless stunt guy. We got Max, who's 7, who's essentially a, exact replica of his grandfather, Danny. And then Tommy Jr., he's the infant. He's the new Michelle. He's the cute baby who gets dressed up and does fashion shows with Aunt Becky. Ramona is Kimmy's daughter. She's also 13. She even says that she's not happy about, quote, moving in with the whitest family in America, which I thought was kind of funny because it is a little true.
Yeah.
And then we have Dr. Matt Harmon, who's DJ's coworker at the vet clinic, and he's also one of her new love interests with Steve. We have Fernando, who's Kimmy's ex-husband. He's Ramona's father, race car driver, and he continually tries to get his Kimberlina. I love that he calls her that. We also then, the other person is Lola. It's Ramona's best friend and Jackson's love interest, who's also 13. So what do you think of these new characters that they threw into the mix? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you like the choices they made?
I love them. I just think I think the boys are so adorable, especially Max.
Max is my
He
favorite.
just cracks me up with some of the stuff that he does and does in the show.
I mean, he's 7.
He's so, I mean,
Yeah.
and he is like,
Timing
he
is
reminds
on
me
point.
a lot. He reminds me a lot of how Jodie Sweetin was as Stephanie, with like she was, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Which I think was
when he was, I mean, he's just adorable, and I mean, who doesn't love a cute little baby? And I mean, I think Jackson is really a good actor too, and a good addition. I thought Ramona was interesting. I did not picture Kimmy ending up with somebody who was I thought she would end up with somebody like more nerdy, more like, you know what I mean, more outrage. I didn't picture her ending up with this like suave and
the
suave ladies man kind of guy. And I think that Ramona is really, I like how sassy she is. I think she's a lot like DJ was in certain ways, and I love them all. I think they're like a bit of a
Breath of fresh air.
I like Max. He's obviously was hired to be the Stephanie.
Yeah.
Because she was hired to be the star of that show. I guarantee you the young one is going to be a different kid for season 2. I doubt it'll end up being like how the Olsen twins were. I love that Ramona isn't white.
I know.
But I don't like the actress that's playing her. I don't know. I felt like I wanted a more eccentric character like Kimmy was.
You wanted to see
but not a carbon copy of Kimmy, obviously.
You just wanted to see a little more of her Gibbler side.
Yeah.
Whereas
I agree.
feel she's kind of bland as an actress.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry to say that about a child.
She has that too cool persona.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did read, I read, I'm a nerd, I read a lot of stuff. So I read an interview with the creators, and they said, really for this first season with these new child actors, they really made the actors the character. Like, they wrote them very similarly to their own personalities because they weren't sure what their capabilities are. I mean, they're only 7 to 13 years old. They're still pretty young. And now that they've kind of settled them in, they're going to be really expanding their characters and helping them grow more in season 2.
Awesome.
So, Amie, what did you think about the new people?
Well, I agree with Andrew, but you followed it up with your research, so that'll be really exciting. I agree with what everybody has said. Max was my favorite. The 13-year-olds, I was like trying not to be annoyed with them, but I was, and maybe because they're 13-year-olds in this day and age, it's kind of like I look forward to seeing how those particular characters and their personal character arcs develop in the next season. But I was underwhelmed by and large by the kids, unfortunately.
I think for me, I'm a bit of a minority here because I loved Ramona personally. The diversity of her and like her father, I think that was a good. It was like a breath of fresh air a little bit because you had the original series where everyone was kind of the same. So to bring in that difference was nice, and of course, obviously Max again, so cute, and the baby, and Jackson I think was interesting because you didn't really have a rebellious kid in the original series. I mean, I suppose Stephanie was on some occasions, but he's a little bit more out there.
with his stunts and helping Ramona escape from school and all that.
Like, I think that was smart writing to take it to a new level, so.
I really liked Matt as a character, like bringing him in and kind of introducing him into the Tanner/Fuller family, but I did not like how fast he became DJ's love interest. I feel like that could have, granted, they probably didn't even know if they were going to have a season 2 or keep continuing the series, but I feel like they like rushed some of those relationships too soon, especially with like rekindling that relationship with Steve and then starting a new one with Matt. And I kind of want to see him more, not necessarily like in the friend zone, but like see him and DJ like get to know each other a little bit more, at least like while we were still watching it, like for the first time seeing them before like they started dating. Especially since she recently became a widow as well. Like seeing a little bit more of a, I don't want to say like a mourning period, but seeing a little bit more of a period where she is, like with Danny Tanner, where she was single, she wasn't quite ready to date yet.
Yeah, I know, because I think they said like when the series started, she'd lost her husband, Tommy Sr. He was a firefighter and he died fighting a fire. Andrew's over there laughing. Why are you laughing?
Just how they just throw that in there, like, oh, by the way, you know, and then all of a sudden she's like, and now I'm going to start dating again.
And we don't know how much time had passed between his death and all that, because obviously, you know, DJ sold their house or wherever they were living to move in with her family with that. So we don't know if it's been a year. I mean, I'm guessing it's not been a year because Tommy's not.
I can't remember in the original series. I feel like it was like 6 months or something.
Yeah, so maybe it's around.
Yeah, Michelle was around like 6 months.
She still spent the whole first 2 seasons. Like, you know, maybe he'll go on a date and then I'm not ready.
Yeah,
you know,
and where she seemed. Yeah, it's like DJ kept saying, "Oh no, I'm not ready, I'm not ready." And then she literally goes and runs and jumps into Matt's arms.
And then having 2 guys fight over her and going through that, like, I need to see more inner turmoil with what she's going through.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have just, like, left her for another woman or a man or something? And so it wasn't the same.
So it wasn't exactly the same rehash.
And morbid almost. Like, I don't know.
I know, for me, it was like, she has 3 boys instead of 3 girls. And then it's 3 adult women and 3 younger boys now with extra kids.
It's just recycling.
It's recycling. It's exactly what you said.
At the same time, though, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say cool, because obviously he passed away, but like having her former husband, like he died in the line of duty, like in service or something like that, whereas like he knew what he was doing for his job, but he still did it anyway, where, obviously not comparing the two exactly, but like for DJ's mom, I believe she got killed in a car accident.
She was killed by a drunk driver.
Yeah, killed by a drunk driver, which is definitely like something you don't always see, but at least for Tommy Sr. Going in as a firefighter, he knows that chance where it's like, okay, I'm doing this job, I might not come back, but I still want to do this because this is what I care about. Just having that like type of guy in DJ's life too, and then to suddenly lose it, that definitely affects the character so much differently too.
Yeah, that's very true.
So let's talk about some of those big moments then of season 1. We've already kind of started to segue into that. So let's kind of go back. We talked a little bit about the fan service earlier. Do you think we're going to see some of that in season 2, or do you think hopefully they've got it out of their system in season 1?
I think they probably got it out of their system. I think we're going to see more focus on the kids and the what do they call them?
The she-wolf pack.
Yeah.
Andrew, you're kind of shaking your head as if
I don't think so.
You think
I
the fan
feel like
service
I think we're gonna get like some Gia in season 2, and we're gonna get some
That'd be
other
cool.
like people, and they're just gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah,
I'm with Andrew.
I do think we will get an Olsen though. For maybe one cameo, it'll probably be Mary Kate. She the one that did Weeds. Like, she kind of
Ashley's the one who's left acting completely.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why she has no interest to return. Mary Kate has done some things.
Yeah. I can see them making a cameo just so they're not like, you know, just like, you know what?
Yeah.
We will do this.
To satisfy people.
Yeah.
I'm with Andrew almost on everything he said. And with respect to Act 2, nope, not Act 2, Season 2, I want to be optimistic and say that the entire season will be more developing this new generation of Tanners Fullers, but I mean, you're talking about a show that lasted 8 seasons. They're going to bring stuff back.
Yeah.
And I think every season. So hopefully they'll do it with a little more. I mean, it's a comedy, so they're always going to be a little punchy about it. The original show was a little cheesy and a little punchy about some of their gags. But I just hope I hope that they don't try too hard.
Yeah.
Because if they reference something or bring something back, the fans will appreciate it. But if they try too hard, they're going to turn people away. That's my fear.
I agree.
They can't use it. They can't rely on it as a crutch to keep them going throughout the series anymore. Like, they can still bring it back, but
they have to do it in a natural way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to make sense to the storyline overall.
Yeah.
And I think that's what my hang-up was with it, is like the foundation of the show was essentially, again, with the recycling, just making it all the same. Like, there was no originality to it. I mean, you had, again, like Ramona and that sort of thing, but it just didn't feel as genuine as the original series did. And I think that's what bothered me the most about it. So I agree, I'm going to try and be hopeful, but I'm not really all that optimistic about it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, it was nice to, oh, look, they're singing Forever again, and oh, all the catchphrases are back, but okay, let's move on. You know, just the one, again, I can't get past the fact all the digs at the Olsen twins. That literally 10 seconds, I timed it. When I was watching it. I thought
you were being generous.
No. I timed it when I was rewatching in preparation for this panel. And it's like, no, they held at the camera for 10 seconds. I'm like, okay, that's unnecessary. Yeah. I mean, they could have said, oh, Michelle's off in grad school, or Michelle's doing this. They didn't have to dig at the Olsen twins real life. But, I mean, they did the 10-second glare. Ramona made a comment about getting an Elizabeth and James dress for her 13th birthday, which is the Olsen twins fashion line. Yeah. And then in episode 12, the She-Wolf Pack gets drunk and calls her voicemail when it's like 4 a.m. in New York, and all they did was say Michelle's catchphrases over and over and over. Yeah. I'm like, really?
And about the dress, too, I think they even said that it was, like, too expensive.
Yeah, or no wonder they don't have to act anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Come on. I mean, the meta moments, in general, I don't think they work. What about you guys? I mean, because they had, digs at Uncle Jesse, at Joey with this Alanis Morissette song.
Did they bring that up?
When Steve took DJ out on their 90s back to high school date, he said he had Alanis Morissette pumping in the car, and DJ turned around to Stephanie and Kimmy and said, like, oh, you know who that song is really about, like, as she's shutting the door.
That's right.
So there were so many meta moments, and, like, I think when you guys said it earlier, it's like, stop. Like, focus on the characters, not on the actors.
If they went that way, and I told Kylie this, but part of me kind of wishes that they would have done the show, if they wanted to do that, the way they've been taking it, and being very meta, they should have done it like a Brady Bunch and a Very Brady sequel. Yeah. And really play that up. Whereas,
really
like, everyone in life is, like, in the now, jaded, but they're, like, trapped in that wholesome, that would have worked and been funny. But that would have never happened, though. So
I don't know. Speaking of being stuck in the 90s, what do you guys think of DJ's new catchphrase?
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta.
She was saying that before.
Yeah.
That was the original?
Yeah,
I do not remember that.
Yeah, that was from the
she
original.
said that all the time.
Did she?
Yeah.
I must have blocked it out of my memory.
I don't remember that either.
Oh my gosh, thank you for correcting me. I was like, oh, they finally gave DJ a catchphrase. Like, that's cool. Wow.
But
okay.
No, I mean, that's such a random one to have given her.
I know.
If it were new. But no, that was a thing she did.
That's crazy.
In, like,
well, I still don't like it.
I love it.
I mean, but yeah, going back to My Lanta, though, and it was like that one bit where it was like, it could have been kind of funny, but they just, like,
where
played
Stephanie
around. And she was like, no, really, My Lanta.
Yeah, where
Stephanie
did the product placement after a late night out. It's like, okay. One of the big things here, DJ's love triangle. It seems like that's the main focus of this first season. Do you guys agree?
No. It is, but it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Definitely shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Thoughts? Besides, it shouldn't have been.
I mean,
it just happened too fast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not that it's not interesting, but all of a sudden, I just, it wasn't realistic to me, and that show has never been particularly realistic. But I'm not sure, I don't remember who said it, but they were saying how the first 2 seasons, and pardon me, I just don't remember who said it, the first 2 seasons of the original Full House, at least it was I'm dealing with these emotions, and I don't know if I want to date, and I'm going to try, but it's not working. She just jumped right into it. There was no, they may mention, this, I don't know, I don't even remember if she had any, super emotional breakdown about dating again, and now she's got 2 guys. It just doesn't, it's entertaining for entertainment's sake, but it's not believable.
And I personally just have a big grudge against love triangles because it's in everything.
Yes. Yes.
And it just gets old, especially when it's very similar characters throughout multiple platforms and mediums and that sort of thing. So I personally just didn't like it for that reason. But I agree that it was rushed and not as realistic as it could have been. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I would have liked to have seen her be on her own for a while and really, like you said, feel those emotions. Because that's a serious thing. Her husband died, I know if I had been her, I wouldn't be ready to be in a relationship right after. And to be honest, she did that in the original series. She's grown up now.
Yeah, she had the love triangle with Nelson and Viper.
Yeah, it's okay, maybe that's something you do when you're younger, but when you're a
mother of 3,
with
they can't string them along like that.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys agree with the fact that she chose herself in the she-wolf pack instead of making a dating choice?
Yeah, I think that was smart.
Yeah.
But again, I still think they should have waited. Granted, they didn't know how long the series was going to last for it too. They probably didn't know they were going to continue after this. Or it's might as well just throw it in there, see what happens. Oh wait, we have season 2. Now what?
Yeah. And I think having Steve there was reasonable because it was, he could have been a significant emotional support for her just because she had known him since forever, basically.
Yeah.
But then to bring this new guy who doesn't really understand the situation and then have her suddenly attracted to him, it was just a mess altogether.
Yeah.
Or at least it could have been like the original love triangle, which I felt took a lot of time to develop. And she didn't just jump into I like both of you, It was it took time, and then eventually she chose, which is real, They could have had Steve come back, he still has feelings for her, then this vet comes and he likes her, and she could have been maybe been attracted to both, but still, no, I'm not ready. And it could have been internal conflict that lasted.
Do you think the reason that it was so rushed, I know Leslie had said a few things felt rushed earlier, do you think that's maybe because of the format where they went to 13 half-hour episodes instead of, the original Full House had 22 to 24 half-hour episodes in a season? Do you think it's that condensed timeline where they maybe felt like they needed to rush things? Or
that could be. Yeah, that could be, but I also feel like they, not in a bragging way, but they could have known that they would have been renewed for a second season just because it's Fuller House, it's a big brand, and it's really popular amongst a lot of generations and that kind of thing. So, I feel like it could have been more gradual because the anticipation to be renewed for a second season was pretty expected. So,
They don't deal with it until you know that you're going to get picked up.
When you have the time to.
Exactly.
Because I don't think they felt like they needed to rush it. With Netflix, there's shorter seasons, and it's great because you can binge them, but usually the next season, even though it's a year later, takes place right where the last season left off.
Yeah,
and that's how most shows are nowadays.
Okay, so we talked about some things that we didn't like. Is there anything that you guys actually liked about season 1 of Fuller House? Did any episodes, did you love any particular episodes or any moments?
The one episode that actually did really get me, that I was yes, you guys are touching on something more real. And it goes back to my girl Stephanie, because I love her.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yes.
Yeah, you know exactly where I'm going with this, I hope. But it's the episode where she actually said, confessed that she couldn't have children and why she's living the life she's living and how she feels about that. And I was like, that redeemed the season for me.
Yep.
And it still goes back to my being able to identify with her as a 30-something. Not that I have that issue that I'm aware of, but just being, a single 30-something who has to make decisions when the people around her are building families and things like that. So that was my favorite moment, I think, in the episode, or in the series.
Yeah, I completely agree. That moment resonated with me. I just turned 30 this past summer, and again, I don't know if I had that problem. I really hope I don't. But that resonated with me, and that's when this series felt the most like it had a part of the original. And I really hope that they have more emotional moments like that, for good or for bad.
Oh my gosh, I related to that beyond what you can imagine. Because I myself, I know for sure I cannot have children. And for me, it was, I cried a little.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
you're tearing up right now.
I was like, yeah. I mean, it was like...
It spoke to you.
It did, because I related to that moment so well of I was really young when we found out, and I didn't have to tell my family members, but I have had to tell other people.
Right.
And...
Yeah, it's a trait you don't see on television.
Right, exactly. And I just loved that they gave her that moment of, you know what? Yes, I can't be a mother, but I can...
But I love being an aunt.
But I love being an aunt. I can be
yeah.
here for you. I mean, my sister's kids, those are my babies. Like, I would do anything, step in front of a bullet for them without hesitation.
And
I
you see
really
that
feel
in
like
too.
one of the things that the original series got really right, and that this one is getting to, is that you don't have to be a mom to be a mother figure, and it truly does take a village to raise children. I feel like in my family that's true. I mean, we help babysit, we help.
Yeah, and that's exactly
and everything. So I mean, when that moment happened, I was like, oh,
yeah. They said from the very beginning that they're team DJ, and they're essentially they're co-parenting, which is the new word. Yeah, so they're team DJ. They're here to help raise the kids, and even Ramona all together. All 4 kids together.
And I think that's so wonderful for you too, because you already have that connection from your childhood. So to have that happen and have it so tangible, I think that's really cool.
And I'm sure a lot of people, and are. I think they like that they're able to see a little bit more of themselves in a character that, again, you don't normally see.
That was hands down
your favorite.
My absolute,
Andrew, did you have any?
I agree with that. But I was gonna to bounce off of that is the other moment that I felt was like the best moment in the show because it was real was when Kimmy didn't. What do I want to say? She didn't punish Ramona for that, and then she had her moment on why,
when Ramona broke out of school and
she's in a new school, they're getting a divorce, all that stuff.
She feels like she's punished her enough.
Right, and that was just an honest, real moment.
Yeah.
And that was like, and I feel like that was the first time in the show when I was like, okay. Keep going.
You're on the right track, Fuller House. Keep going. Yeah, it's like use today's real parenting struggles for your inspiration, and like you guys have all said, we're not in the late 80s, early 90s anymore. Jenn, you had said that even the childhood experience has totally changed, and it's like, so bring us, use modern day scenarios and get that Full House heart behind it, and then you will not only get your original viewers, but you'll get a whole new generation of viewers who'll be able to relate with it too.
And I think to see that from Cammie specifically, because she's so goofy and she's kind of dumb on occasion. But to see her just have that really smart moment with her parent, I think that was really great because, again, it helps people connect with her a little bit more.
Yeah.
It made sense. I don't know. I think her being a good mom, it makes a lot of sense for her character. So,
I also believed her.
She was besides that moment from Stephanie, I feel like Kimmy was the most believable character throughout season 1.
I think it was taking, not acting. She didn't do anything, so, I felt
she was just being very realistic.
So she just came back and she was like, this is Kimmy.
Yeah, she was just going for it. So do you guys have any other favorite moments or hated moments or the choreographed dance sequence moments.
That got kind of annoying after a
Oh
while.
my, thank you.
It kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, it did a little for me too. Like, okay, we get it.
Which, I mean, for Full House, too, like, Stephanie's very creative. Like, she was always having those choreographed dances, but it didn't seem like there was that many in one season.
But it made sense in relation to the story.
Yeah, like they were at a party and like she would dance or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, but they had those breakout things.
They did.
Was it like with the Greek ones, you know? When it was
Yeah.
like they had that like wedding when Jesse was really married. Sorry, not going back to the original again.
Yeah.
But they had those moments.
They
where
did,
would just,
yeah,
like,
so they-
randomly
that's
do
another
this
thing.
cheesy stuff.
But like in the 80s and 90s, you could kind of pull that off. But now it's like, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Really? You guys just all know the same Bollywood dance moves? Like,
Yeah.
like Dr. Matt, because this was for his father's retirement party from the vet clinic. And even, Dr. Matt's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And he just breaks into the dance for comedic effect, but he's doing it right. It's like, really? Nobody does that.
No.
Nobody does that.
I did love how, going to, like, when the kids are in school, now there's all those security guards, and so she couldn't escape,
Yeah.
and everything, but there was that episode when, Michelle was in kindergarten. She was able to, like, leave that whole school and stuff.
Yeah.
Just show how different, and,
How different things are.
I mean, they trusted us. I mean, I snuck out of elementary school, you know what I mean? And, like, left, and now, you watch a show and they had security guards on, like, every, I don't know, I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Reminded me of my high school.
Well, speaking of how things have changed, the Tanner house has kind of changed.
Yeah.
It's a little different from what we remember from 1995. What do you guys? Do you guys think that they did a good recreation of the set? Because they didn't have the original plans. They had to watch like hundreds of hours of Full House to recreate the set as best they could. So, do you think they did a good job of making it seem familiar? And
Yeah.
I do.
It definitely felt familiar to me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it felt like it was more modern, but it still had
had the same
touches.
feel.
It had that nostalgia, but it was definitely looked like
Yeah.
something from
so like it would have,
2016.
so like they have the stainless steel appliances and so it felt the same to you guys.
One of my favorite lines is when they talk about how Danny could sell that house for like millions of dollars, because that's so true. Like those painted lady houses. Yeah.
It recently did. Like the inspiration for Full House sold for like a crazy amount of money.
It's gotta be worth $4 million.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think it was one of the executive. I don't think it was John Stamos, but I think one of the original creators for Full House / Fuller House actually bought that house for the show or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought I read. I read
that.
that somewhere.
That's cool.
Maybe that was back
That
in
is
the day. Because I know they used an exterior, obviously, of a real house. But then all the sets were just their own imagination.
Yeah, but I mean, but that is a real house.
It is a
did
real
they
house.
Buy, I mean, maybe did
it's
they buy
on-
that house after?
I think
No, they did.
But I
It was
think
up.
it was just
It was
like
up. It was up for sale. I'm pretty sure someone from the Full House producers team did end up buying that house. I don't.
Because I know that particular house has gotten so famous. I mean, they've even completely repainted the real house exterior, so it doesn't even look anything like the Fuller House,
Yeah.
the Full House.
Yeah,
They had to put up a fence on the stairs leading up to the front porch because fans would keep going up and taking pictures on the property. And I know the owners who recently sold the property, they were just so tired of the fans just flooding the house.
And is it really just that house? Because I feel like, for so much they show shots of, the whole street.
They do, but that house front, at the time, when they first started doing Full House, it was so recognizable.
Yeah, they had
When
that
it
red
became,
door.
it was a white house with a red door. It was the only one on that block that was a white house with a red door. Now it's shades of green and yellow. It's they totally made it different. They did update the neighborhood shot for Fuller House, and so you can see it in the neighborhood shot that it's all updated and renovated, but the close-up exterior shots of the house are from the original series.
Did they ever show the backyard in Fuller House?
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, most of the parties took place in the backyard.
Oh, that's right.
And that's where
Yeah.
not Comet Junior or Comet Junior,
Comet
whatever.
Junior.
Yes.
Had the babies.
Had the babies in the backyard,
Ramona's
for the
13th
pilot.
birthday was there. I even think the retirement party for the boss was there.
Okay.
It's like they literally never leave there.
I just felt like with the original, people always entered from different, some would enter from the backyard, some would enter from the front, some would come down the steps in the kitchen, down, and I felt like everyone was just always in this space in the scene, and I don't know. That's
Well,
what
and
I
now
kinda
there's
like.
a new entrance off the kitchen. there was like those 3 windows in the back by the stairs. Now that's like French doors leading out to the backyard, and they've added a mudroom. They've added a whole new room onto the house.
I wonder if that was because of Stephanie's mistake.
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't know.
She did kind of like,
Yeah. The one thing that I know a lot of fans noticed, and I noticed it too, was that the attic is incorrect.
I noticed that too.
They did a meticulous job of recreating every other space in the house, but the attic
was
is totally wrong. Like Nikki and Alex's bedroom.
It was on the other side.
It was on the
way bigger.
viewers left.
Yes.
Not the viewers right. And I think they just did it for comedic effect, because then if it would have been the normal Nikki and Alex size that we were used to, Ramona could have easily lived in the attic with her mom, and then the boys wouldn't have had to share a room. So I think they made that decision consciously, because I mean, you saw it was literally bunk beds, which in real life you'd never be able to get those bunk beds or a mattress through that door.
No.
Yeah, I was really surprised at all the hard work they did. That they just the attic, they were just like, screw it, we don't have enough time, just make it. The couch is the original.
Yeah.
It's the original couch. They put it in storage in '95. Perfect condition when they brought it out. How cool is that?
Amazing.
I love it.
There's that one piece, so it's still, I mean, that couch is that hard to show. That's what's recognizable.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's what they used in the teasers.
Yeah.
The trailer was the couch.
Yep.
And I love that Danny got a blazer made of the couch material.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably my favorite, like, I'm not really going to call it fan service moment, but it kind of was.
Yeah.
But so a lot of things got updated. We already kind of talked about the house, but the other thing was the theme song. Got a little bit of a remake from Miss Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
I
Didn't like it? What didn't you like about it?
I just, I don't know. It just didn't feel familiar, which I guess, it changed. It needed to be more contemporary, especially since she is a contemporary musician, but I don't know. It just bothered me because the original theme song is so, it's so classic.
It's so iconic.
So iconic.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that maybe if they left that there, it would have been a nice touch. But again, it might have also been perceived as sort of a fan service moment.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It might have felt a little too dated for Fuller House, too.
Exactly, yeah.
So would you have preferred if they put a totally brand new song instead, or
no? I think keeping the song was a smart choice, but I don't know. It just didn't.
You just didn't like the version that they.
Yeah, it was a bittersweet thing. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do.
You don't know what you do?
Yeah.
Just does it feel right, or does it feel just off, or just no opinion?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind Carly Rae Jepsen's version.
Yeah.
But I didn't like. Yeah. I mean, I would have been fine if they just did it instrumentally. I would have been fine with Don Stamos doing it.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that didn't bother me one way or the other.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, I agree with Andrew. It didn't bother me, really. I am glad that they didn't rewrite a completely new song that didn't, that sounded and felt completely different. I think having John Stamos do it would have been a good idea, but that's okay. It didn't bother me, though.
So we're all kind of like, it's okay, but other things could have possibly been better and or worse.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of, so again, it's like 3-star rating for the theme song.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it would have been better if, I guess, going back to talking about Girl Meets World, because I do watch that too.
We're gonna get there.
I was gonna say how they, with their opening, it's a new song, but they recreated the opening credits.
Yeah.
And I would have liked that if they just, with the new characters.
Well, they did sort of. They
sort
did
of.
it in a different way, but they showed, at least with the adults, they showed them from the first, the season 1 opening credits, and then they showed them from the season 8.
The last.
Yeah.
The last opening credits, then their current
Yeah.
image. Then with the new kids, they just had a couple of baby pictures.
Yeah, to me, they were just, copying the other Cameron TV shows opening.
Yeah.
You know what they did back in the 90s?
Oh,
Was that Growing Pains? And they showed
they do the same. Yeah. With Kirk Cameron, her brother. So, do you think Fuller House is as family friendly as the original was? Like, can all ages watch it, or do you think it's more for people like our age?
My sense of Fuller House was that it could be watched by all ages, but there were definitely moments that felt a little more adult in their humor. I also think just suggestions and things, and maybe because now it's focusing on 3 30-something women who are still pretty young in the way that they operate and they think about stuff. But I also think that it could be family friendly, absolutely, but it's catering for me, towards the nostalgia more than catering towards, at least for this first season, catering towards a new generation. So I think that they're smart in bringing it back because it was so well loved, and now we're adults, many of us, with families who can introduce to the show, but it doesn't feel as warm and fuzzy in many ways as it used to. I don't know if I made any sense with that, but that's my thought.
Yeah,
We're following. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think in a lot of ways you kind of have to have watched the original series to some level.
Really get the most out of
Exactly.
Fuller House.
Yeah, the different jabs and things like that we've talked about. But yeah, I agree that I think it's a smart move for them to kind of cater to the adults so they can then pass it on to children or whoever.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it is family friendly, but I think it does cater more to the adults and the people who grew up with the show and I think you're right. I think you absolutely have to have at least watch the original to
Just
some
have
extent.
a working knowledge of the
Yeah,
basics.
to
Of
kind of know
yeah.
what's going on in the new series.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
But I also think it's wholesome.
Yeah.
Where a lot of family shows nowadays are more edgy and deal with more real life issues. So I do think that Fuller House, even if you didn't watch Full House, will still get the champions of, let's say, Candace Cameron's followers and those people that it's still wholesome enough for them to not boycott TV like everything else.
I really haven't heard. I mean, the only controversial thing that really happened with season 1 was people thought that they were appropriating Indian culture with the whole Bollywood thing. That was the only point of contention, but that blew over super quickly.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on it, that it is wholesome. It can still be family friendly, but like you guys have said too, it's a lot of our generation or Allie's up and coming generation who's really watching it. Now, Andrew, you've been talking about this all podcast. I'm also a big fan of Girl Meets World. I mentioned this back on our Looking Back Futurama podcast. I don't know why I brought it up, but I did. And so, and the revivals, the reboots, the continuations, those are kind of the big thing with Hollywood in both TV and movies right now. And I do agree. I think Girl Meets World is one of the best revivals to kind of come out of this new wave. But we also have the X-Files that's come back. Gilmore Girls recently just came back on Netflix. Arrested Development, 24, MacGyver, Lethal Weapon. I mean, there's just across the board.
Prison Break
is coming back. Yeah. So with all this new wave of old shows being brought back to life, where do you think Fuller House stands? Do you think it's on the better end of the scale? Do you think it's on the lower end of the scale? Does the series stand on its own? What are your thoughts on where it might compare?
It's definitely, to me, towards the bottom of as far as quality of these reboots go, but at the same time, because it's Full House, it still offers that escapism.
Yeah, it has the weight of the name in the original series.
And I mean, you're gonna watch it. I mean, I'm watching it for nostalgia. Whereas, with Girl Meets World, there's actually good storylines that are completely different. It's not just
it's not a rehash,
right? But with this, it's straight up escapism. I can watch it to just
zone out and recharge.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and especially too with Girl Meets World, with it being on Disney Channel, it kind of has its target audience set, and especially for people too that watch Boy Meets World and are disappointed by Girl Meets World. Unfortunately, you're not the target audience anymore. You can still watch it for the nostalgia, but this is no longer for you. For Fuller House, I think they're still trying to find that footing where it's we still want to cater to that nostalgia and bring the kids in that watch this that are now parents or young adults like us, but at the same time we want to target a new demographic, but we don't quite know how to balance that yet.
Yeah,
I think they're sort of in a revival purgatory almost in the in between. Definitely, I agree with that.
I don't watch enough of the revivals to make an opinion, although I hear wonderful things about Girl Meets World from my own family. I haven't tuned in yet. I'm going to go ahead and say I probably would agree with Andrew since that's been the theme.
That's been the theme. Amie agrees with Andrew on everything. I'm going to agree. I'm not really quite sure where this one stands. Again, I'm a 30-year-old and I love watching Girl Meets World. I'm a little nervous that it's in limbo. It hasn't been renewed for another season yet, and it's been a couple months since season 3 ended.
Really?
Yeah.
There was just a new episode last week.
Or like since they stopped filming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Jen, since they stopped filming. So they haven't officially renewed or canceled.
Kids that I talk to say it's boring.
Really?
Because it's real. And
Because
those
it's real.
kids like their slapstick.
Yeah.
There's talk about it
Kind of
moving to
thing.
freeform, which I hope it does.
I hope it does. That's a better...
Especially as they grow up, too. I
They're
feel like
in high
that'd be a
school
better outlet for
And
it.
that's where Boy Meets World reruns are?
And that is a topic for another podcast. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Kylie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, kind of comparing it against Gilmore Girls and Girl Meets World, and I've watched The Arrested Development, and I don't know. I think Andrew's kind of hit the nail on the head. It's more there for nostalgia value. I think the show could stand on its own, so if you haven't seen Fuller House, I don't think you're going to miss too much because they do a good job of throwing it back to previously seen on. I don't know. I guess we'll see how season 2 does, if it'll really hold up and stick around for a while.
I will say this is better than the Heroes revival. It was
Painful.
I had to watch it for the nostalgia just because I watched Heroes initially and like just because I knew that like some of the characters weren't going to come back because obviously the actors are moving on to other things. But it was like by the time it got to like the end of the show, I was just like
You were just done.
I was done. I was like I can't watch this anymore. Like I'm glad it got canceled because it just got so messed up. Because I feel like that's what happened with Heroes in general too. Is like as like once after the show got renewed after that writers strike, the quality just went down. That was not something that should have been renewed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As much as I love Heroes, it shouldn't have been. This one is not nearly as bad for that case or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, I mean, did Girl Meets World start it? I guess, I mean, like, shows did it way before, they've always done it. Brady Bunch used to do those.
Yeah, Brady Bunch was revived. Dynasty 90210.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them that.
But I feel like I think it was like with Girl Meets World, and all of a
it
sudden
kind of brought back that nostalgia for our generation.
Right, well, it was like the trailer was watched by so many people,
crazy.
and then the first episode was watched by so many people because it's free advertising. And people had to watch it.
Yeah.
So then others come back just hoping I
It's
can
the same.
get the show going.
Get a little more. I can get my fix.
Yeah, but if it's gonna suck, I mean, you're gonna turn it off.
Right.
I mean, I wish I stopped Heroes after season 2, but I mean, the reboot, I can't get past the first episode.
Yeah.
You're not missing much.
So I think you guys might find this interesting then. In my research for preparing for the podcast, like I said, I'm a nerd. So I read an article in Vanity Fair. It was published this past June, so June 2016, that said that Fuller House was the most popular show on TV, period, between traditional network and cable television and streaming.
Wow.
I mean, Netflix and the streaming services, they don't release their viewership. Like, they keep that very hush-hush.
Right.
But there is a tech firm called Symphony Advanced Media, and they say that they've cracked the code to Netflix's viewership, and they determined that Fuller House drew a staggering 14.4 million viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic, that real sweet spot that everybody wants, within the first 35 days of it being on Netflix.
But does that exclude Breaking Bad? Because isn't it like
that's
Breaking Bad?
That's overall.
Yeah.
It is the
that's
most.
That's how much you would
It
get
was
from like
the most
the
popular
Friends
show like on TV. I think it's for the 15-16 television season. I think that's where they put that little caveat on it.
You don't even see that from
Because-
like live episodes. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
airing on TV.
they said that 14.4 million, it translates to like a 10.4 Nielsen rating, roughly, which is more than like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. So, like, do you guys...
Well, The Walking Dead had like 18 million people for the premiere. That's huge.
This is for the 15-16 television season.
Okay.
So do you...
Oh, okay.
That was
because I know
caveat,
Netflix came out and said that they don't give out their ratings, but they will say that Breaking Bad gets more viewers on Netflix than like almost everything else combined.
Right. Yeah.
I think that immense viewership, though, I think that also accounts for like the curiosity of this big show coming back, and everyone just floods in completely.
Yeah, because it doesn't take into account who watched the series complete from beginning to end. That's just in total. It had 14.4 million unique viewers or unique households.
It's like Pokemon Go
awesome.
with all the downloads.
It starts great and then it just dies. Yeah. So
I still play Pokemon Go.
Oh, I do too.
I love it.
I don't know, I just thought that was kind of just an interesting tidbit of information that I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I would not have thought it would be in Orange is the New Black. Or...
Well, and then, I mean, it depends on, I think season 4 of Orange is the New Black is one of the higher rated Netflix originals. But they said overall, they've estimated, this Symphony, it's not Nielsen, they've estimated that season 1 of Fuller House is the most popular Netflix original series to date.
Wow.
I mean, obviously then Orange is the New Black had come out and since that, but it's kind of interesting to see where the chips fall, if you will, in poker, since they made the poker joke in Fuller House between Danny and Jackson, where, Danny's like, oh, I got a full house, it's 10s and 3s, full house always wins, and then Jackson lays down a better full house hand, he's like, Fuller House. That was a cute little funny one.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys want to happen in season 2? What are you hoping for? Like, any plot points? The DJ triangle, how do you guys want to get that resolved, or you just want to move past it? Where do you want to see things going?
I want more character development. We were talking about earlier, at some point, we were talking about the kids. So I want to see them develop, and I would love to be more interested in them, and more about, like, the ladies and where their lives have led them personally. I don't want people jumping into relationships and things like that. Like, where's the character development? That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to know why DJ hates Fernando so much. Do they ever really talk about
Well,
that?
he cheated on Kimmy a lot.
Like several times,
Several times
I
during
guess
their
I missed
marriage.
that part.
Yeah.
So never mind.
He cheated on Kimmy, and even when he went
Understandable now. Okay.
he cheated on her a ton. Yeah,
I was thinking about that last night. I was just like, wait, why does she hate him so much?
He cheated on her.
Okay,
He cheated
makes
on her
sense.
best friend.
I retract what I said.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see like a more of a love interest for Stephanie, and I would love to see DJ's thing get resolved, because I love the show, but I think I agree with everybody. That was too quick. Yeah, for me, I think for Stephanie to have some interest come along would be cool.
A little more stable one.
Do you want a spoiler?
A stable one, yeah.
Do you want a spoiler?
Yeah.
Sure.
Both of those things are going to happen.
Ah.
Stephanie is going to get involved with a gibbler.
Oh,
That's right.
Yes.
Stephanie is going to get involved with a gibbler. It's Kimmy's younger brother, Jimmy, who's a new character.
Yeah.
And then...
Never mentioned before.
Exactly. Because I was trying to think that too. It's like, it makes sense with like
her older brother, Garth, I think it was, or whatever.
Yeah, because it was like we've never met her parents before.
No, we've met her. I don't know. Yeah.
No, we never met her siblings.
No, so we're gonna meet Jimmy Gibbler. Kimmy and Jimmy. And then DJ's love triangle. Spoiler, if you guys don't want to know anything about the beginning of season 2, both of the guys, Matt and Steve, we last saw them riding off into the sunset to get a beer and a pizza together. They're both going to be in new relationships that are not with DJ at the start of season 2, because they got tired of waiting around for her. But the love triangle will be resolved by the end of season 2. I don't know where it's going to go. But both Steve and Matt are series regulars for season 2, so we will be seeing them pretty much in every episode. But I will say I am Team Steve. DJ for Steve forever. I believe in first love is true love. I did not experience that for myself, but I can for my fictional characters.
I think what would be kind of cool, maybe this won't happen in season 2, but like later on, especially with Stephanie getting the love interest, I think it'd be kind of cool if, even though she can't have kids, if she like found a way to like start adopting kids and start her own family that way, because that's not really something that Full House has really talked about.
Like
something like that.
That would be
awesome.
kind of cool. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think a complete reform like that creatively, just for them to take it in new directions as opposed to
rehashing and
exactly. So
and adding a little bit more diversity too, because I mean it's
I agree.
the whitest family in America.
Literally, and all the new characters they've added besides Ramona and Fernando are also white. It's like, come on,
maybe
guys.
Jimmy will be an adopted minority.
I mean,
but I agree. Yeah.
It's like so far Michelle's friends in school were the most diverse that Full House got. So let's hope.
Other than the like random cameo from Steve Urkel in Full House.
Yeah, I mean, we have Lola now. You know, she's Ramona's best friend. She's I think she's an Asian descent. If I remember right.
Yeah.
So she's a little, but still, it's not enough diversity for
me. And the receptionist at the
the one black receptionist. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, even all their customers were white at the vet clinic, too.
Yeah.
They're in Chinatown. They're in the middle of Chinatown in San Francisco, and everybody in the waiting room is white. I don't get
Does
it.
that make
But
sense?
it's also San Francisco.
It also is San Francisco.
Yeah.
Most people
So-
were kicked out of that city.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford it.
That's true. So, and then Andrew, you said before that you wanted to see Gia come back.
Ooh.
I feel like she mentioned on Instagram something. I think she would come back.
Girl Talk is coming back.
Okay, good.
For season 2, so we will be seeing Gia.
Oh, that's
again.
amazing.
You know who else should come back? The Go-Go Dancer Boy. The one that's on the couch potatoes. Not couch potatoes. Oh, gosh.
We're couch potatoes.
Sure, I was talking about the last podcast where they just sit around a TV show and a couch and watch TV shows and talk about it. Bravo. But anyway, Michelle's best friend, the boy from Little Rascals, is on that show where he's just one of the people that sits there with his friends and they...
Doesn't it seem like
Derek.
Derek? Thank
Derek,
you.
yeah.
Derek.
yeah!
So she's on a Bravo
Yes.
TV show right now
That is crazy.
where they do basically what we're doing,
Yeah.
but they're filmed watching it live.
Right.
Kylie, note to self.
I know. Soon.
That could be fun.
If Michelle ends up coming back too, something I'd like to see is her friends coming back too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Taj Mahal, like he's still acting.
He's still, yeah, a lot of her friends are still acting.
Yeah.
But it would have to be done, like we said earlier, in a more natural way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The People's Couch. Thanks for that plug, Andrew. The one thing that I'm kind of excited to see that was announced earlier is that DJ is going to have her high school reunion
Oh yeah.
in this season. So we're going to see Nelson. We're going to see Viper. I don't know how he fits in because he was in it. And then we're also going to see the often mentioned
Kathy
Santoni.
Santoni. Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
The only thing that I'm kind of upset about is that Nelson, who was originally played by James Marsden, is not returning. He has a successful career as a voice actor, and so he's done on-camera acting, and so they're replacing him with Hal Sparks.
Oh.
James Marsden?
Or sorry,
Was
Jason.
Nelson?
Jace is
No, it's not that one. No, I recognize his voice too from cartoons.
I love James Marsden.
I was like,
He's
wait,
he's
what?
on my list.
I know, I just realized that. I was like, no, that's not right. That's definitely
It's
not
the
right.
other one. It's Jason Marsden from, I think he was on Step by Step too. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
so, and then we're also going to see some Tanner family holidays.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're going to see Halloween,
Christmas.
Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
I'm excited for that.
So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see. I think they've got some good things. You know, they've got some good guest stars lined up. I won't spoil everything because we need stuff to talk about in the season 2 podcast.
Yep.
But there is a lot of good stuff that I think is going to happen that'll maybe change our minds.
I want
Yeah.
to read about these spoilers now because I didn't
I will
realize
tell
they
you more.
filmed it yet.
I will tell you more when we are done recording, so I want to
Okay.
give everything away for the
All right.
listener. We're right at the end here. Would you recommend the show to others? Yes or no? Speed round.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes, of course I would. Yeah.
And are you going to keep watching?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes. With that, I would like to thank Amie, Andrew, Allie, Leslie, and Jenn for joining me to talk about season 1 of Fuller House. And thanks once again to Kylie for letting me take over the microphone once again. This panel will reconvene after season 2 of Fuller House premieres on Netflix on December 9th. 2016. So stay tuned for us sometime in the new year to talk about season 2. And as always, CPU always has so many episodes that are coming down the pike, as Kylie likes to say. So be sure to subscribe to the blog at couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. And as Kylie said, we are everywhere you look because we are Full House and Couch Potatoes Unite, and we keep things consistent. And as always, end with our famous words of our chief couch potato: keep watching, keep listening, stay tuned. Bye.